Hi, my name is Linda. I'm coming to you from my living room here on Darwin Land in Sydney. Thanks for joining me. It's been a while since my last video. I did try to film just after my last, I want to say it was a knitting podcast. I had filmed it and everything, but sadly that weekend my grandpa passed away. And I just haven't touched that footage since. I haven't really thought about YouTube since. So it's been a couple of months, I think. I'm back. A lot has happened since, but it's been nice to have a break, to be honest, just to clear my mind and also just put knitting second. For like the last, I don't know, year I've been putting knitting first in some sense, and while it's been quite therapeutic in a lot of ways, it just got a lot with everything going on in my personal life. So I'm sort of back on the knitting train. I've got a few things to show you. I do want to acknowledge that between my last video, and I guess it's been a while, but I did want to mention a huge thank you to everybody, because I reached 1,000 subscribers, and that's been just incredibly humbling. It was a huge milestone for me. I wasn't expecting to do that anytime soon, and I'm just extremely grateful for the support I've gotten in the last couple of months. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who has stuck around or is new even, but the support has just been really incredible. So yeah, I really do appreciate that. I've made some lovely friends through this community, and I'm gonna hang out with them this weekend, so it's pretty cool. Yeah, so I want to get into some finished objects. I think most of them are all test knits actually, and I finished a lot of these test knits quite a couple of months ago. Wait, what is this? October? So I probably finished them in August, and I just haven't really shown you guys. It's still got a needle on it. Anyway, oh, I'm wearing Ozetta's Traveler's cardigan. I did make it last, I did showcase it last podcast, so if you want to check out details on that. I haven't been wearing it ever since the last podcast, but it's just been really warm, especially when it's been gloomy and rainy in Sydney, so yeah, I've been wearing this one heaps, and it's colourful, so it's like, I've mentioned it a million times, but the speckles on the yarn kind of make me a bit happy and just remind me that it's spring. So yeah, I've been wearing that. I want to move on to some finished objects. I wrote no notes down, which is really unlike me, so I'm going to be a bit rambly. I'm sorry, I apologise now. This is the Boxy Cardigan Mohair edition by Friday Knits. I've finished this. It's hard for me to show you, but I haven't put on the buttons yet. I did temporarily put on buttons with these pins, but I've taken them off since because I was going to sew them on. But I kept having trouble because I think I keep having this gappy issue, and it's just always been the problem with me and sewing buttons onto my knits. I don't know. I know it's me, so I need to work out a better way to sew buttons onto my pieces. So I've kind of just been ignoring it and putting it in a pile, saying that I'll do it one day, which I will. So it just needs buttons, and it needs just some touch-ups, because I've just left all the strands of mohair hanging about. It has been blocked, and yeah, so I haven't been actually able to wear it yet without the buttons. It still has a needle attached to it, because that's just, actually I'm going to take it off now that I remember and see it. Actually it's attached to my button because I was going to sew a button on. Alright, so it's not going anywhere. I made this in, the body fabric is Ching Fibers mohair, I think in Wapeltinga, and then the collar was done in Hobby Super Kids Silk. I don't remember what colour. But I've linked things in my Ravelry. Sometimes they're on my Instagram, so you can find out the colours specifically. And I had this two-toned kind of thing in mind because I thought that would be really matching with the yarn, especially being all speckly. And it's hard to tell, but this mohair has a tinge of green in it. And that's initially what I wanted for the collar. So I wanted the collar to be this mint, really pale mint green. And I feel like I'm repeating myself. I don't know if I've mentioned this in the last podcast. It's been so long, so I don't remember. But yeah, I never got back in time, so I went with what I had, which was this really nice rustic red tone, I guess. And it does match the speckles in the body really well. So I'm really pleased with how this turned out in terms of the color combination. So I did something a bit different with this knit. After I finished the body, just before the hem, I noticed that the back of the body was really short and the front was really long. And I wondered if it was because it was weighing down because the garment was heavy at the front. Because if I hemmed it right there, I would have this really odd high-low piece, but really low at the back and then really like long at the front. So it's not the look that I really wanted. So I decided to do a ton of short rows just before I did the hem. So I don't know if it's obvious, but you can kind of see a dip in where the body is. And now that I've blocked it and everything, the shape looks a bit better. It's a bit more symmetrical in terms of the front and the back. So those short rows to me were really necessary to keep it quite even. I will keep this in mind if ever I make this again. But I wondered if it was me maybe making a mistake somewhere, or if it was just naturally how a mohair garment would be, like rather heavy at the front and really loose and light at the back. So I don't know. I did raise this with in the test knit, so yeah, it's something just to be mindful of. Otherwise, I really enjoyed that test knit. It was something I took with me when I was away, so it was really fun to do on a little getaway. And I loved like picking out buttons because I got to go to my grandma's place, pick out all her vintage buttons and steal them and take them back home. So that was really nice. I do need to finish it though, so it's just going to sit in the corner for now because I can't figure out how to sew buttons onto my knits. Okay, moving on. I have another finished test knit. This is, oh no, the name's just escaped. Miles Tea by Ozetta. So same as this cardigan's designer. I've worn this out already, but I'm noticing that I didn't like sew in my ends. Anyway, I find that's like quite common, so you'll always see like a strand somewhere, and that's just me forgetting to finish up a piece, but I'll still wear it. So this is a t-shirt design featuring these really cool eyelets at the back on the shoulders. This was extremely fun to knit too. I love these drop shoulder kind of constructions because like I don't make them that often. Like I don't tend to buy patterns that incorporate all of drop shoulder. I don't know, that's just how it happens to be, and I have been doing it a lot in the last few test knits that I've done, so it's just been really fun. It's a different kind of construction, especially adding details like this these eyelet stitches. It's just kind of fun. So this was knit in Filcolana Arwetta. I think the colour's Red Squirrel. And also a feature of this top is this curved hemline. I don't know how obvious that is on camera, but there's a dip in where the hemline goes, so it's a little bit, I think, longer at the back. yeah, it's a little bit longer at the back, a little bit shorter at the front, and it's quite aesthetic, I think. Especially when you're wearing like pants or something, it just, I don't know, it's quite a flattering shape. I do wish that I don't know, knitted this in something a little less warm. It can get really warm in Sydney, so I kind of wish I made my t-shirt garments like in a cotton merino or something like that. I mean, this is just what I had at the time, so I have been able to wear this out quite a fair bit at the start of spring. But yeah, I'm a bit concerned that I won't get to wear it as much in summer, which is a bit of a shame. Yeah, no, I really enjoyed this test knit. I enjoy Ozetta's test knits because her patterns are so easy to read, and it's just, yeah, it's really nice when you're a test knitter and you just go for it. Like it, yeah, it's very clearly written out, rather neat. It's just it's quite fun. Yeah, I don't have too much else to add on that. I think you can probably extend the length, so mine ends up being a bit of a cropped length. But yeah, kind of suits my short height, so a lot of things I make tend to be a bit cropped. Speaking of another designer that's really fun to test knit for, I've done multiple times now. It's Penrose Knits, Laura. So I finished this Chantilly vest today actually, because I just finished doing the bind off. So this is my version. It's kind of funny because I just realized now all my test knits have the same color palettes. Like if I put them all up next to each other, I kind of look a bit, I guess I like these colors a lot. It wasn't deliberate, but now that I'm looking at it, I realize that I really like certain colors. I mean, yeah. What are you gonna do? These are things that I've made, so I'm gonna be knitting them in colors that I like. I do need to block this, so it looks a bit crazy, but that's just how like frills go when you don't block them yet. And I do have loose ends everywhere that I need to patch up. This was knit in Saga, 2 strands of Saga by Filcolana. And initially I was going to knit this collar part in Saga as well, because I had bought this like ages back, being like, I want to test knit for this at some point. I'm just going to have all the yarn ready for that. But I didn't end up using it, so I had Saga in Marzipan, which is like a brighter white, and I also had, this is Drops Nord in beige, light beige. I put them up next to each other, and I thought that just the beige would be better with the like burnt orange, so that it wouldn't be so stark. And it turns out that I really quite like the combo. It's still, you can still see a contrast between the collar and the body, but I think if I had gone with the white, it would have just been a bit too much. So I feel like, yeah, this was kind of the right choice. So what's funny about this collar was that I was knitting it and I've almost finished, and I realized that I'd knit the entire collar in the wrong size needles. So I pulled it all back and redid the whole thing. And I was continuing on with the ruffle, almost about to bind off the ruffle, but then I'd run out of yarn. I think like 2 rows towards the end of bind off. So I decided to undo the ruffle as well and incorporate a white into the ruffle mohair. So, sorry, I don't know if this is making any sense, but the ruffle is done in mohair, while the body is done in mohair and Saga, or Nord in my case. So I had a really nice, I would say it was like a probably maybe oatmeal shade mohair, but I'd run out of that color, so I pulled it all back to add in some white, and that's why my ruffle actually looks a tone lighter than the collar itself. Sorry, that's a huge mouthful. I don't know if that made any sense at all. But yeah, I actually really like the end result, because initially when I had done the ruffle, it was the same color as the collar, and I thought at the time, like, I'm just gonna stick with it because, you know, I can't be bothered to undo mohair. Like, unraveling mohair is one of the worst feelings ever. But yeah, no, since adding that white, it just adds this really nice tonal effect, and overall it just makes the entire thing kind of, I don't know, that it's got a bit more dimension to it now, which I really like. And I think that's what I wanted out of this, adding a contrast collar, and now the mohair ruffle is also adding another layer of contrast. So I love this overall piece. Can't wait to block it. I will be blocking it tonight. So yeah, I can't wait for that to happen. I initially did want to make a split hem, and I actually did it. I didn't like it, so I ripped it back and just did a regular hem. Yeah, I don't know why I thought that would look nice. It didn't. I don't recommend it unless you really, really want it. I mean, I got permission from the law to do it, but I just did not like the look of it. So currently it's just a regular hem, which, yeah, looks best. I did Jenny's stretchy bind off, so it's just nice and loose fitting. This is a size 2, by the way. I think my other, I should probably mention, this is a size 1. This is a size 1, and I think this is a size 2. My Ravelry will probably be best at finding out sizes. Yeah, I'm very happy with that, because I've been working on that all week, and it's been quite a quick knit. I'd say that vest probably would take an entire week if I stopped ripping things back. But it's hard because you want things to be wearable, so yeah, I'm glad I ripped them back to make them just a bit more satisfying for me. Otherwise I'd just probably be grumbling about it the entire time. Yeah, those are the 3 things that I technically have finished over the last months since I haven't posted. I've been working on, well, really, really slowly on the whips that you've probably seen in the past. Chances are there's not much improvement in a lot of things. So I've still got my Sunday sweater by Petite Knit. This is double. I probably should stop showing this because, like, there hasn't been that much progress. It's really just more of the body. And at some point I will start the sleeves so that I can figure out when to finish up the body. I've only got 8 balls of yarn for this, so I don't want to overdo it and like not have any left, because I do want to have a bit more of a longer length. I want to stop making so many cropped pieces, because like while I do love cropped pieces, they just are not gonna be that functional for my wardrobe in the long run. So yeah, I still have that, and that's really slowly moving along. I have this Amy slipover by Sandnes Garne. It's one of their spring books, or was it mohair books. So I've done the entire body. I think I still need to tubular bind off one side, because that's just, I left these things for months, so they've been sitting in a basket, and to be honest, this is the first time I'm looking at this in months, so I'm realizing now I need to bind off. And I am yet to attach my straps, so I've kind of been holding off the straps simply because I don't really crochet much. I don't crochet. And I tried last year at Christmas to crochet, and that turned out a bit horribly. So I've held onto the body, but I need straps at some point, and a collar. This is actually really tiny in my mind, and I think that's because I stopped the body at some point thinking that a cropped look will be nice, and now I'm kind of semi-regretting it. But I do know this is Plotaloopy 1 strand plus mohair. I do know it stretches a fair bit, so I think when I block it, I'm just going to stretch the hell out of it and see if I can lengthen it a bit. Yeah. What did I want to mention about this? Oh, it's a one size fits all. I did want to start mention sizes in the garments that I make so that people are aware when a pattern doesn't have as many sizes on offer. At the top of my head, I can't remember the last 3 test knits, but I'm pretty sure the sizes are quite generous on those 3 pieces that I've just mentioned. I can't remember a petite knit at the top of my head, but I do know this is just one size fits all. And while that sounds awful, I do think that you can mix and match. You can adjust the size based on how much you cast on, and I know this because when I followed the pattern to the T, my piece was gigantic, and I couldn't realize why. And I just thought maybe that's just part, and it didn't occur to me that obviously my gauge was wrong because my yarn was not, I wasn't using the suggested yarn. So yeah, in my mind this was just going to be a no-brainer to just knit, but without gauge swatching I didn't realize that I was quite off. So what I did was just cast on like less stitches, I think by like 20 less or something like that. And I've still managed to make the entire piece, just recalculating how much to knit at the side, not sides, shoulders. So I just recalculated that to what it should be in proportion to the pattern itself. I know that's a fair bit of maths, but for this piece, if you did want to adjust the size, I don't think it's a crazy thing to do. It was rather straightforward. It just involved a bit of maths. And also calculating in terms of you want to keep it in counts of 4 because of the bottom being a sort of double rib bind off. So yeah, it does take a bit of calculating to do, I think. But yeah, it's a bit of a shame it is just one size, but I think it is quite a generous fit because of the straps and how you tie them. Yeah, I do probably need to get back to this at some point. I do have more. I don't remember the last time I showed you the Ingrid sweater. So this is by Petite Knit as well. I haven't touched this for at least a month, so I don't remember where I'm up to. I can see that I'm up to the trellis bit, and I think I've left it for a bit because when I wanted a clean slate, the last thing I wanted to do was read a chart, even though I love reading charts. So this has been sitting in another corner. I am up to the body, so I joined, and it is quite a fun knit, I have to say. I do eventually want to get back onto this. What did I want to say? Oh, so this bugged me when I did it. It doesn't bug me so much now because I haven't been looking at it and knitting it, so like I just haven't really been thinking about it. But at the time of me doing this, I was pretty annoyed. So this is double moss stitch, and I had done it properly at the back, and you can see that it looks lovely. And then I thought, I know what double moss is, and at the front I clearly didn't do a double moss stitch. I think that's just a single moss stitch. And so when you put them side by side, maybe it's not too obvious. Oh, I don't know. It's obvious to me, but it's not the worst thing in the world, actually. Yeah, I don't know. It's fine. It bugs me a little bit every time I see it, but I don't think people will notice that much. But yeah, at the front I didn't do that double moss. So at least it's symmetrical on both sides. So both fronts have this awful single moss stitch, but yeah, I don't know. It's fine. It's fine. I decided to do I think I did a regular double collar, the regular 1x1 stitch double collar. I was tossing up whether to do like the 2x2 to match this kind of ribbing detail here, but I think I like it like this. It's just nice and simple. Kind of makes it a bit more wearable for me. I didn't really like her initial high mock neck situation, and I just really like a folded 1x1 rib collar. I think I even tried a twisted. Is this twisted? I can't tell now. Maybe it is twisted. Look, I don't even remember, it's been months. But yeah, I just like a simple collar, so I went with that. But yeah, I do need to get back into this too. So it will just sit in the corner and wait. So yeah, I've mentioned a clean slate a few times. So what I wanted to do was just knit something that was mindless in my mind, like not following, not learning how to crochet, not looking at a chart. So I managed to cast on sweater number 14, I want to say. So this is by My Favorite Things Knitwear. I do know the size range isn't great for this piece, so do keep that in mind. It is a generous oversized fit, so as a size 1 this is pretty generous, but still it's, yeah, unfortunately it's not as size inclusive, but I will link an option for a different pattern that is more size inclusive for those who are interested in this look. This is knit in Drops Air. Oh wait, I keep forgetting things. This was knit in Vilcolana's Peruvian High Wool plus Drops Kid Silk. Yep. And then this was knit in Drops Air plus Drops Kid Silk and Almond to make this kind of golden thing. It's better in more light. I can see that my room's getting darker and you can't really see the true color of this, but it's a really nice golden pink, I'd say. I've tried to use the gold mohair to kind of bring out this two-toned sort of look. But yeah, the main reason I wanted this was because of this collar, this fluffy situation. Carla from Knit Crits just finished hers and it's inspiring me to get back into this and just finish it off. But I really, really like this. I keep putting it on and taking it off, and I'm just very close to being done, but not quite yet. I finished one sleeve, but I have a feeling that I'm going to rip it back because it's just a tad bit long, and I don't know, I'm yet to block it. It's going to probably stretch out a little bit when I block it, and I've got short arms, so I think whatever's specified in the pattern is just too long for me. So I think I'm just going to rip it back a bit. So I'm going to start on the other sleeve to work out what I actually do want, because yeah, it's just a tad bit long, but I'm almost done. I've only got the rest of the body left, and I guess the rest of the sleeves left since I'm gonna undo this one. But yeah, I cannot wait to finish this. So this is probably going to be the next thing I finish. I have a few other things that I kind of started and then stopped and then started and stopped. I'm making this Sienna shawl, inspired by Patricia. I'll link her podcast down below. She just started a couple of months, like maybe a month ago now, and her podcast is quite amazing. I'll link that below, and I'm also doing it with another Patricia as well, so hopefully we'll all have the Sienna shawl sometime soon. I started knitting that, but I'm going to redo it because I don't like the needles that I'm using. I think I decided to size down, which was a mistake. There's a ton of cabling involved in the shawl itself, so I think it is best to use the recommended needle size or size up the needle. So I will redo that, so I don't have that to show. I have the tiniest bit of sweater. I think this is 15. I don't remember. 15, which is the cable one. Yeah, I once again just don't have the mindset to do any cables at the moment. I kind of don't really want to think too much about knitting right now. I just want some easy, mindless patterns. I actually did think that I would be doing the mystery knit along for Stephen West's shawl, but I bought the pattern, I have the yarn, it's just a bit too much for me to start now. I think I have a lot on my plate, so I feel like, and I'll probably do that another time, which is a bit annoying because I had it in my mind that I'd be doing this for ages now, and yeah, it's funny how things change and you just reassess what your priorities are and what you can and can't do. Anyway, I'm okay with that. I have the pattern, so I will do it at some point. I don't have much else to show for, I think. I will be slowing down on test knits because I want to get a ton of other projects started on soon. So hopefully I can show those soon. And I'm going to the Fibre Fest this weekend, so that's really exciting. I don't know if I'm going to vlog there or not, so you may or may not see footage. You might see things I decide to purchase. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do about that, but I'm really excited to go and see some people, see some knitters, and see some yarn, so that will be cool. Yeah, I think that's all I have to show for. I have made some purchases, but I haven't really collated them in a way that I can showcase right now. So maybe at some point I'll do a little haul of all the things that I've just accumulated. Yeah, currently they're just spread out right now. So yeah, maybe I'll do it at another point if people are interested in more of a haul thing. But yeah, thank you for joining me. Sorry, it feels waffly to me. Maybe it's waffly to you or not. Thanks for joining me. I will see you next time. Take care.